Boom! Our last video for this year. A great journey indeed, guys. If you haven't subscribed, kindly do the thing. After this video of JavaScript, understanding JavaScript, we're gonna start our playlist, our practice playlist for web application development, and then we move to mobile application development. So far, I would love some suggestions on these theories playlist we've done, how it could have been done as of you. Should I stop English completely, or just mix with Swahilis, or just drop your comments kindly? Alright, mengi sumu, let's start our video for today. Understanding JS, an extraordinary programming language, easy to start, hard to master. But with me, I'm sure you will master the basics. Topic outline: 1 will be introduction. What is JS, its syntax, and how to insert it. 2, retrieving elements, how to get the HTML DOM elements to add the codes to. 3, nodes, modifying nodes, creating nodes to our HTML. And lastly, closing remarks. JS introduction. What is JS? JS is simply JavaScript, a programming language that we will use to give some interactivity to the elements on the web. As we said, the HTML will be our body skeleton, CSS will add colors and beards to our body. Now JS will be our brain, and I know you know the functions of the brain, right? Its syntax is similar to C, C++, or Java, but there is no use of types. If you've seen the C++ and Java syntax, their variable must be declared with the types, either int, float, string, boolean, and then you assign the value and etc. In JS, in JavaScript, you just declare a variable like that and assign any value. Imagine you just declare a variable and then you assign any value. It is flexible. Let's see an example here. JavaScript syntax is very similar to C++ or Java, but much simpler. See here, we have var my number equals 10. Okay, that my number is just an identifier. Okay, it could be any name you give to it. Okay, you know the rules of giving identifier names. So we have, it starts with var and then my number equals 10. We have a comment, that is a single line comment, like this is a comment with 2 forward slashes. Var my string equals 0, so you know that a string, okay, enclosed within quotes. Okay, it can be single quote or double quotes. We have array. Okay, these are just like data types of JavaScript. We have int, we have string, we have array here, okay, with a square bracket, 10, 20, name, true. Okay, we have an object also, like var my object equals, and then we use curly braces with a key and value pair data. Okay, like name, Javi, city, Barcelona. Okay, we have also functions in JavaScript, like function, say, and then we have the parameter str, and then inside that we have a for loop, just like simple, for var I equals 0, I is less than 10, plus I, and then console.log say plus string. So it's just simple. Imagine we can use JS to change the content of the HTML or the CSS styles applied to an element. We can even send or retrieve information from the internet to update the content of the web without reloading the web page. Now, how can we insert this JS code to our HTML page? There is 3 ways. One will be embed the code using the script tag. So we just place our code inside the opening and closing script tag. And note that this tag should be placed before the closing body tag. So that means it should be placed inside the body tag. Another way how we can insert JavaScript code to our page, to our HTML, is importing externally, okay, using the attribute src, meaning source of the file. You must make sure the file is saved with .js extension, and then it should be placed inside a self-closing script tag, okay, the unpaired tag of script, okay. And then 3 will be inject the code on an event inside a tag, i.e. on a button event. As you can see, inside the opening button tag we have on-click event, where inside it we have JavaScript, and then the code we will write, either alert a message when button is clicked, okay, and many other ways we can write code inside that on-click event. Later I will show you an example where we'll place a JavaScript call function directly. Let's see an example of script tag inside HTML. So we have HTML, body, h1, and then we have the script tag. Opening script tag, we have var title, that is variable title, equals document.query selector h1. So these accesses the h1. We're going to talk about them later. Title.innerHTML equals, this is another title. This is just an example of how we can add the script tag, embedding the script tag in our HTML. So JavaScript comes with a rich API to do many things. API is an application programming interface. There's no need of you to code, you just use these APIs to do some functionality. So we have one, access the DOM HTML nodes, that is document object model. Access the DOM. Do HTTP request. It could be a contact form. When someone submits the form, there should be some request, okay. Play videos and sounds, that is another API of JavaScript. It can, like right now the video you are seeing, there is a pause button, there is a next button. Those buttons when clicked, when you click the pause button, this video will pause, and that is thanks to JavaScript, the interactivity. We have detecting users actions, mouse move, on key press, do something like this, like that. You can also launch threads, okay. You can access the GPU, okay, like get the camera, get the webcam image, okay, access your location. Those are JavaScript API. We're gonna practice them later, and the API keeps growing, okay, with every new update of the standard. Retrieving elements. Now we want to retrieve these elements in order to give some interactivity. We need to write code on them. So you can get elements from the DOM using different approaches. So DOM is the document object model, as I said, the head, the body, okay, the P, the H1 tags, the div tags. Those are the object model of the document. One way you can retrieve element from HTML into JavaScript is crawling the HTML tree, starting from the body and traversing its children, okay. 2, using a selector like in CSS. Do you remember? Kindly, if you do not remember selectors, I recommend you to go back and watch my video in understanding CSS. So you can use selectors. Remember the dot, the hashtag, okay, those are selectors. 3 will be attaching events listeners, calling functions when some actions are performed, clicking on a button, okay, maybe scrolling, Okay, those are events listeners. It can be on input, etc. Let's start with retrieving elements by crawling the document object model. From JavaScript, you have different variables that you can access to get information about the website. One, we have through document, okay, the DOM information, that is the HTML object itself, and also through the window, that is the browser window. We can get some useful Windows API to access, okay. So the document variables allows to crawl the tree, okay. Example, document.body, okay, document.body.children0. So this will return the first node inside the body tag, okay. Now if we check retrieving element using selectors, you can retrieve elements using selectors. Var nodes equals document.query selector all, and then opening bracket we have the quotes p.intro inside as a parameter to that inbuilt function. So document.query selector all. So what does this mean? This will return an array with all p class equals intro nodes in the web, okay. All the nodes with p tags of class intro inside our HTML, then they will be returned as an array because we are saying query selector all. What about when we want just one text, okay? Example, var intro text equals document.query selector p.intro. Have you seen the difference? So this will return the p tag of class intro only in the web, okay, when we don't have many p class of intro. Nodes. What are nodes? We talked about nodes in our HTML, if you remember. So nodes, the document object model, the skeleton, the elements that we have in our HTML, those are known as the nodes. Now we want to modify some nodes. Are we able to do so? Yes, because this is JavaScript. Let's see JavaScript modify nodes. From JS you can change the attributes, like my node.id equals intro. So this my node is just an identifier. So imagine we have declared a variable of my node equals document.query selector some element, okay. Put that in mind. So when I say my node.id equals intro, that means that element, its ID attribute will be changed to intro. We have my node.class name equals important. This will set the class of that node. My node.class list dot add good. So to add to the current classes, we add also good. We're gonna practice them. Now can we change the content? Yes. My node.inner HTML equals p text to show. So now you've changed the content that was previously on that paragraph text, okay. Modify the style. We talked about this. We can also modify our CSS styles. Modify the styles. My node.style.color equals red. So this will change any CSS properties, okay. You just put that node identifier element and then dot style. If it is color, or maybe you can say my node.style dot what, dot background color. Instead of color you can say style dot display. There are many, my guys, okay. Or add the behavior of a node. My node.add event listener, click function e, the parameter e event, okay, and then do something inside the curly braces of that body of the function. As we said, also JS can be used to give styles. Let's see here for hide and show display property, okay. Sometimes it may be useful to hide one element or show another. Have you ever seen on a website something like show more, hide, okay? This is JavaScript. So you can change an element CSS directly by accessing its property style. To avoid being displayed on the web page, change the display to none. Just simple, the element name and then .style.display equals none. Okay, if you want to show element.style.display equals blank, or you can just say element.style.display equals block or flex display. You're gonna talk about them. So that element is just an identifier name, so long as you have declared a variable, okay, with var and then the name equals the document object model, okay, the document.something, document.getElement by id, document.getElement by class name. There are many. Okay, let me show you a full example of a website with the 3 files: the index.html file, candle, style.css, and code.js externally. So here we have our HTML. I've just removed the HTML tag, the head tag. I've just taken the tags that are inside the body. So we have link href equals style.css. You remember how we link rel equals style sheet? That is our style sheet. So, and then we have h1 welcome, we have p tag of button click me, and then we have a script crc. Okay, script src, I don't know why it's confusing. So src equals code.js. that means that's the source of the file. Pale juu we linked the style.css, sindio, link href style.css. When we come to our css, we have h1 color hashtag 333. That is an hex code, meaning gray color. Okay, you can learn them on later or when you research. We have button. The button also is given a style of border 2 pixels, solid hashtag AAA. We have background color hashtag 555. No worry. And then we come to our code, our JavaScript code.js file. Fetch the button from the DOM. We have a comment here. Fetch the button from the document object model. That is var button equals document.querySelector button. Why didn't we place a dot or a hash in the button? Because this our button in our index.html, it has no attribute of class or ID. It is just an opening tag button and then a closing tag button. So if you want to access that, you can use document.querySelector. Inside the brackets we put what? Button in quotes. Then we attach an event when the user clicks it. Okay, now we want to attach an event when the user clicks it. Button.add event listener. Listen to an event. Add event listener. Which event do you want? The parameter, the first parameter will be click. The event will be click. It could be double click. Okay, it could be on hover, on pressed. Okay, there are many. We're gonna practice them later on our practice playlist. So add event listener click, comma, my function. So now in the second parameter is the place where we put our function code. We define our function. Like here we have create the function that will be called when the button is pressed. So function, my function. Okay, that's how you create a function. You define a function in JavaScript. Opening curly brace, alert, button clicked. So this will show what? A pop-up window. We're gonna practice this. Okay, great. So this is just an example of a website, full page website. We have the HTML on its own, we have the CSS on its own, we have JavaScript on its own. All 3 of them in the same folder. Great. Now we have the basics we need to start our practice on web development. So far we've seen in this video is just a walkthrough, but I have placed a best free link website to learn more on JS syntaxes in the description below. So the website is w3school.org. Thank you again. Don't forget the promise. Take care. Let's meet 2024 with a new energy and start our practices. It will be not like these theories. I know it's boring. I know. When we come to our practices, I assure you, you will enjoy the practice playlist. Peace.